Okay guys, I wanted to give you a tip for those that do shiplap. The only way this works is if you're going into a dead wall, a wall that no one can see the sides on. And so if it's a reveal, you know, something that you can see, this won't work. However, if you're going like we are into a wall, this is the coolest trick I learned at another house that we flipped because I didn't want to try and measure everything to perfection. So this is a piece of 5 1/4 inch shiplap. What I did was I ripped the tongue off of this piece of shiplap and I have it sitting here on the side. And so what we want to do is, the way this is going to work is when we put the shiplap, it's going to actually sit up underneath this tongue on this side, this groove. Right, so this is going to be my trim piece that goes on the side of the wall, and I'll show you that in just a moment. And then this is going to come up underneath, and it's going to look, if Karen will change the angle, it's going to look like this is a big thick piece of trim when it really isn't. But it's going to look pretty cool. And when I do my measuring, I can miss. If I show you this, I can miss by about, I think it's a 1/2 inch, a little more than a 1/2 inch actually, 5/8 of an inch. So when I measure my board from one end to the other, I can measure to here and then just add a little 1/4 inch and then just slide it under and it's gonna look perfecto. So here's what you do. You take this board and the groove is gonna be the side you're gonna slide into, and I'm gonna tape, or you could use a nail gun. I just don't have nails that short. I've got little staples that might work. But then I'm gonna tape it or secure it long enough to get it on the wall with duct tape. So all I'm gonna do is make sure that this edge is straight and make sure it stays in the right place. And then just use little tiny pieces to hold it in place. It'll make sense in just a second when I put it up on the wall. And then I'm gonna secure it on the wall just on one side because I don't need the other side obviously to be secure because I gotta slide my shiplap underneath it. All right, one more ought to do the trick after this one. Okay, so now the end that's now thicker is going to go against my edge, against my wall, I should say it that way. And you can see I've already drawn a line up there as to where this is going to go. And then that's going to sit out like this. Once we get this in place, I'm going to secure it only on that one side so that I can still hinge it open. Then I'll be able to take my shiplap, bottom piece, it'll slide in like that, and then I'll be able to shut it down on that. Just kind of play around with it a little bit. But anyway, that's a secret tip. I'll start on that end and work my way toward this end, and then when I put my piece in, I'll be able to bump it up and have perfectly straight lines. I think that'll make sense to you. We'll show one more. When I do the very first row down here, I'll show you exactly what that looks like. Okay, so we're gonna secure this with one, and then like I say, we wanna be able to hinge it open so that I can slide those in. So I'm just gonna go all the way up. Okay guys, so I've got my first piece of shiplap in place, and now I get to do my secret cool measurement. I mean, I'll figure this measurement obviously once I cut this piece, but I can measure right up to this edge. If you'll notice, I'm just gonna measure to this edge, and I've got 54.5. So I just add 1/4 of an inch, 54 3/4, because I have a 1/2 inch of play. So 54 3/4, and then I can slide it in and then move it back and make sure it's perfect on this edge, and it just makes life way easier, way easier. Here we go. So all I've got to do is slide that in. I've got a 1/2 inch of play, or 1/4 inch of play, and then I push that in like this. Gotta lift that up and get that in place. If you look back here, I mean, there's a little bit of a gap, but when it's all finished out, you can see this is so perfectly straight and beautiful, and everything fits the way it's supposed to on this end. So we've got all these beautiful straight lines, and I don't have to cut and measure exactly. So I think that's a tip that you can use for a long time. Okay guys, we just thought we'd wrap the video up. As you can see, now I've got these beautiful lines. Everything was pushed in behind. It's nice and flush. This looks like a nice piece of thicker trim. And if you'll notice on the other end, I could push. There's a couple of nails that still have to come in, but I could push, you know, every board right up against this one and create a really nice look on this side as well as the other side. So hopefully that tip helps. If there's some professional shiplappers who do this all the time and have never learned this little trick, then give me a shout out and let me know that you did it and how it worked for you. Have a good day.